Welcome back to the channel, folks. So it's Cosmoverse 23 going on. This is my first ever Cosmoverse, and I'm tuning in to a lot of it. I'm seeing what's going on the broadest scale of things. And something that's really caught my attention is this labor market that's being built specifically over at Luna. But this is something that's in our sector, and the pay per milestone system kind of achieves, I would say, like 25% of what the labor market is. I have actually spoken with Strath Cole once before about introducing a system as to which, for example, and I think I've spoken about it previously in a video actually. I'll have to locate that. But taking, for example, the United Vision, that gets agreed by the community. It goes up, it gets voted through all 8 points. Those 8 points are then priced out. For example, we set a bounty for each one. Just going off the top of my head, we give a 50 million bounty to the dynamic commission module, and Frag decides to himself, I'm going to pick that up. That's a good job. I can do that. I can get it done in this much time. That 50 million works out for me. He does that. He creates the module. He completes it. He proposes it. It gets implemented. Boom. It's at that point that money could then be released. For example, how was we doing something like this before? Well, Edward Kim was actually signing off on a lot of stuff, but we could build a system. There are ways to do this, but what I wanted to do was actually cover this, what Chris Armani's going over. If you don't know who Chris Armani is, he has taken over for DK as the CEO of Luna, of TFL, the whole thing, so to speak. And I think he was the COO prior to him getting this position. Let's tune in. Let's listen to what he's got to say about labor market.
The entire labor market's on chain, and enterprise labor is the first version of that. It's a place where either a DAO or a treasury or an individual can post a job that they need work done for. It's a place where either of those entities can also pick up a job and do work. It's going to be wrapped in a reputation layer that we've already built. So an individual, a DAO, or a protocol that's doing work for another party will be building reputation at the same time. That reputation will be completely decentralized. They can take it with them to any platform they want to use. They can use it in Web 2. They can use it in Web 3. It really brings the best of Web 3 to, it kind of combines the best of experience you would see in something like Upwork or Fiverr, but with the sovereignty of owning all of your data, owning your profile, and not having platform lock-in.
So this is really, really clever, because what he's talking about is more or less giving a, for example, themselves, they are Luna, the blockchain, TFL. They have every right to hand out ticks to people saying, this person's reputation, they've done this on chain, and here's a list of everything they've done. I think this is great. And then everything you're looking at right now here, so labor market, treasury, the DAO, and payments, all actually, it molds down into an NFT, which has multiple uses, and you're seeing something very, very interesting actually develop here. And if we kind of get ourselves in gear, and we go the extra mile to actually think to ourselves, well, no, nobody has done this before, but is it doable? Yes. Well, why aren't we doing it? And I think the pay per milestone system, once it gets implemented, it should be tweaked and it should be altered to try and best serve as it can. Because if people are doing jobs on chain, for example, like Frag is currently, we can give him a review. For example, that review could go up as a proposal, and everybody agrees that the review is accurate, whatever, and it goes through. If you really wanted to crunch it down to like the real long-winded kind of situation, but as they're saying here, it's all going to be automated, right? So you could then take this review to another place on the Cosmos and say, hey, look, I've put work in here, and it's simple in the way that it does it and the way that he relates it to Fiverr. And I personally think this is actually something we need to get behind really fast and sort of alter as best as we can to what's going on around us. Because, for example, their idea is to bring the labor to the chain. Why go look for it when you can simply bring it to the chain, right? How do you do that? We'll put up bounties. We've got all this work that needs doing. At this point, we'd probably do well paying someone $2,000 to price everything out and get it all up on a pay per milestone system bounty board. You could simply just add a board to the system, someone could take it up, and as they complete the milestones, it's all doable stuff. The thing is, right, is a lot of people would say, well, we don't have a systems built for that. But ultimately, if we build it, right, and we spend the money the first time round to build these self-serving systems that bring the labor to our chain, kind of what like Luna's doing, we're really going to set ourselves aside because we're never going to struggle with different developers wanting to take up different things. It's really as simple as that. So for example, right, say the dynamic tax sat up there for a month. Right, we had it at 100 million LUNC. It sat up there for a month and no one's taken it, and all of the other jobs have been taken. We would know at that point as a community, the likelihood is the price is too low and we probably need to bump that bounty up a little bit more to get someone to bite. The good thing about this is you create a competitive environment when you do this. I'm always part of the group of people that wants to sell cures, not pills, because cures solve things indefinitely, and we are part of this huge technological advancement with blockchain technology, and we're barely utilizing it as a community. And this was my biggest issue with all of the money we was paying out. We were never getting anything. Like, we were literally just paying people to hang around and maybe build something if they're interested. No one's ever building in a competitive manner. It's kind of like the arms race throughout history that everybody gets taught in school in your history classes, and it's the same thing. That's what really pushes things technology wise. If you go and look at the greatest technological advancement in human history, it was between World War One and now. It's sad to say that, but ultimately these competitive environments, I really shouldn't make comparisons like that. I'm totally against war, just in case anyone's got caps locks on right now. But we need these competitive environments for the specific reason that people will try to outdo one another, and that's just the way the human psyche works. Is you will always want to be better than the person who's next to you. You will always want to provide more. Do as much as you can to get the trust of the community, and that's the whole idea behind earning VP. And a lot of people sit there and they think to themselves, and I covered this recently as well, is this idea that the larger validators have their voting power because they're so trusted and all of these different things. It's actually not. It's all down to the way validating was reintroduced back into our chain, and that was something that Terra Rebels themselves pushed on and ensured that validating voting power did become centralized because the specific reason they had all bought their validators. So they didn't need to wait the extra 2 months to join. It was okay for them because they were part of that. So it's all one of these things, right? Create an equal playing field, create an environment where everybody's on an equal playing field. And the only thing that sets people aside is what they build, what they provide, and what they do for this blockchain to help it advance. The joke is, right, it's Cosmos First 23. One of us should be here. I myself, right now, I'm committed to going to the next Cosmoverse. I intend to be there. I intend to do live streams, and I intend to ask questions for the LUNC community. And if not, have a booth open, because ultimately we have to get a hold on this. And it's lots of people, we need a leader. We need this. No, we don't. We just literally need self-serving systems where it's all just there. You can pick at it, you can take what you want from it, but ultimately it all gives back to the chain. You're paid for building something that the chain needs. And Chris speaks at the beginning of this about building like a funnel. You always start at the bottom. You always start at the very bottom and you work your way up. You get a very stable environment, you get a stable platform, then you move forward. We've always struggled as a community that every single person we've paid is always, everybody runs in different directions because everybody's trying to be the next Chris Armani. Everybody wants their system to be the central hub of our blockchain. And as horrible as it is to say, no one should ever have that kind of power. It should be decentralized. We shouldn't be paying just for the upkeep of our wallet and for the endpoints. We were always going to be in a position where we were renting rather than buying. Once again, buying pills instead of just buying the cure outright and never having to go back and buy those pills again. Right now, we're in a very strong position as a blockchain because we've put our foot down and we've said to Hexagon, no, we're not going to fund you. What if Hexagon then gone and said, we're going to stay because we want to support the Lunc community. We want to be here. We want to build. This is what we want. This couldn't have worked out any better, right? They're going to stay. They're going to continue building. Like I said, that's what you need. You need people staying here because they want to be here, building because they want to build, making the blockchain better. My biggest issue is, once again, they've always tried to become the central hub of this blockchain. And it's just not nice. Like I said, I don't want to see anybody ever have this kind of power. At this point, everything we have works fine. Everything more or less runs as it should. If you need to do a swap on chain, you can do a swap on chain. If you need to send coins, you can send coins. If you need to send an NFT, you can send an NFT. We're at a point right now where we need to make decisions as a community as to, are we going to rent or are we going to buy this stuff outright? Are we going to follow these sorts of routes that we should be following? There's a lot going on behind the scenes with everything that I'm doing with the United Vision, and things are getting picked up, and that's what we want to see. Even if I've got to, send these people gesture payments for picking up certain things at the end, then I'll do that. If it comes down to that, I'll do that. But ultimately, what I want to see is people. This is the beauty of the labor market system they're building. People can choose to come and build, right? To get paid, not paid to build. It just never works out. It never, ever, ever works out. That's why you don't pay someone to build your house before they've even built it. It's just one of those things. You've really got to think into this. We've really got to start to understand the ongoings of the cosmos. Anything else that comes up in this as I'm going through it, I'll leave links to this in the description, and try and go over this stuff as much as a lot of people sit there and think, it's TFL, we're not part of their system. We are. They keep updating for us. They keep doing things that specifically keep us in the loop, keep our liquidity going through everything. And I think at some point they're going to realize, hey, the LUNC community is there. We should probably tend to them, keep tending to them. And, maybe the attitude will change and things will become a bit better. And I think they're scared. They're scared to step out because of the amount of aggression there is within our community, the amount of bad actors that would jump on them and all of these different things. For now, and a lot of people I see tweeting, HTC, he trusts TFL. Trust is a very strong word. I support anybody who supports our blockchain. They're giving updates and they're keeping legacy up to date. For me, that's enough to know that they care. So at any point, right? And it was funny because someone actually said this to me on Twitter, that the second I don't support Lunc, they'll turn on me. And I totally get that, because I would do the same. The second they're not supporting legacy, I would come out with a video saying, hey, they're not supporting legacy anymore. What's going on? It's one of those ones. You appreciate who appreciates you. You give the respect back to someone that gives you respect, right? That's how it works. Vice versa, a symbiotic relationship. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know what you think about labor market. Let me know what you think about everything else. Really important day tomorrow. I'm going to be dropping a video, just one tomorrow for everybody, going over the whole endpoint infrastructure situation and the United Vision and covering where we are with that. Everything's looking really good. From what I know, things are ultimately at a point where they need to go into a final testnet specifically. But that's all I can say for now. I'll give you a proper update when I know more tomorrow. Stay safe, stay humble, stay aware. As always, I'll catch you in the next one.